yeah, it feels weird, you know, when we got 70 degrees outside.
I don't think we're really complaining. Like, it's just one of those, like,
No, it's all good.
notable things,
Yeah.
right? Like, oh, it's 72 and we're talking about that. I am going to look, though, where the cold air is, because there is obviously cold air somewhere, and it will eventually make its way here, but we're going to hold that off just a little bit. It's another beautiful night around Northeast Ohio. Clear skies out there, just a few high clouds. Temperatures are going to fade back into the 50s by the midnight hour. Once again, we're going to start the day in the 40s to near 50. And it does look like another beautiful day coming. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you the big picture first. We're going to kind of get this cold air discussion out of the way, and then we'll talk a little bit more on the particulars for our forecast nearby. But you can see that we've got this little bump of the yellows. This is a ridge. This is a warm pattern for us. Basically, this is the heating coming at us from the south. But the blues and the purples, they're far away, right? Well, let's zoom out a bit. Let's take a look at what's going on. North Pole right there, okay? And then northern Siberia over on this side. That's where all the cold air is right now. This is the coldest air in the northern hemisphere of the Earth. It's sitting up here very close to the North Pole, but it is shoved off just a little bit over toward the Eurasian continent. So that's kind of a big deal because that allows all this warm air to sit here over the Atlantic basin, the U.S., and also over into Europe. Meanwhile, Alaska has been dealing with very cold temperatures. I mean, it is Alaska, but even they have colder than average temperatures. Now watch what happens as I push this into motion. We'll go through the next week or so. You can kind of see how all of this is revolving around. This is really fun to sit and watch when you're really bored some evening. But this is basically the wind pattern that is going around the northern part of the Earth. That cold air is stuck. It is staying there. It starts to ebb and flow just a little bit, but we're not seeing any big chunks of it breaking off and coming south, a la the visit of the polar vortex. What we are seeing, though, are small lobes that are just kind of showing us an indication of some cooling trends. So by Friday, you can see one of those little lobes dipping here, and that's when we have some cooler weather that's coming. Temperatures staying in the 50s as we head into the weekend. Once we, though, go into next week, we have another push of warm air that begins to work northward. You can really see that surge of heat setting up over the eastern half of the country by Tuesday. Meanwhile, look what's happening farther west by Tuesday. We are seeing definite progression here of the cold air fading farther south. So could this be a sign that we will be considerably cooler as we start the month of November? Typically, it takes several weeks for these patterns to shift around and change, and that would put us into the start of November for any appreciable changes. Now, meantime, we are seeing some storm systems coming into the West Coast. Very beneficial rain is coming into the West Coast. That's good news for them. This little bitty right here, that is our storm system that's going to try and make its way to us by the time we get into Thursday. You can see it's got a lot of distance to cover, but I think it's going to manage to do it. So let's take a quick peek at your National Designer hour-by-hour forecast. Just a few high clouds passing through tonight. Temperatures in the 40s tomorrow morning, 50s closer to the lakeshore. By afternoon, it looks like we'll have some cloud cover, but really we're going to see high clouds thicken up as we head into the overnight hours into Wednesday, and then eventually, once we get into Thursday, we're going to start to bring shower chances in. That's that itty-bitty that is out there sitting in the plain states, but more importantly than bringing us rain, it is going to unlock just a little bit cooler air for us. So that's why we're down into the 50s in your Union Home Mortgage forecast for Friday with some spotty sprinkles. Isolated shower chances are in on Saturday, and late rain chances return on Sunday. Just a quick peek at your weekend there. We have more on sports coming up next.